The purpose of this video is to create a bunk bed out of individual components. This is what it will look like when you're all done. You can see that there are slats to hold the mattress as well as uprights and rails at the top to protect the occupant. I have created this web page to walk you through the process in small digestible videos. Each video will talk about a particular part or a particular process. The first thing I need to do is to get access to SketchUp. Now I've opened up my Drive account. I'm going to go to New, down to More, and then down to SketchUp for Tools. It will take a few seconds to load, but once it loads, you'll see a green background with a character standing at the center of what I call the SketchUp universe. That's where the X, Y, and Z axes all come together. Now, let's make a rectangle. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and you can see over here on the edge that by clicking on this one tool, I have access to several different tools of different shapes. Anytime you see a pointer arrow to the side, it means that there are more tools available. So I've got my rectangle tool. I'm going to start by making a rectangle on the ground by clicking and dragging and releasing. At this point, I'm not going to do anything else except for start to type in my dimensions in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. It will automatically start to appear. So just start writing. Don't do anything with your mouse. Don't drag down to the bottom corner. Just start typing. So I want to make this into a 2x4x48. That means that in reality, it's going to be 1.5 high by 3.5 wide by 42 inches long. So I'm going to type in my bottom dimensions, which are going to be the 3.5 wide and the 42 inches deep. So I'm going to type in 3 space ½ inch, comma, space 42 inches. Now if you'll look at the way I've typed that, you'll see that the inch marks are quote marks. This is very important. You have to use quote marks to represent inches and an apostrophe, like you would for an apostrophe S, to represent feet. So make sure that you use those specific keys by pressing the apostrophe key or shift apostrophe, which makes the quotes. Don't try to hit the apostrophe twice. It won't work. So now that I've typed in those dimensions, 3.5 inches, comma, space, 42 inches, I hit enter or return, and you'll see that the rectangle goes to the size that I want. If I want to pull that up into the 3-dimension, I go over to the icon right below the rectangle tool, and again, there are multiple tools in there to work with. I'm going to pick the push-pull tool, and I'm going to drag this up into the air by lifting up. Now I want it 1.5 inches. If I'm able to dial it in on the side here, that would be perfect. But if I can't, I just type in 1 space half quote and then enter. So there is my 2x4 by 42 inches. Now I'm going to draw 7 more boards. Here is a breakout page showing some of the boards that we're going to be making. I have a 28-inch board, which is a 1x4, a 39-inch, which is a 1x4, a 42-inch, which is a 2x4, another 42-inch, which is a 2x6, a 2x6 that's 75 inches long, and a 2x4 that's 75 inches long. And then this bottom one is a 1x4 ripped in half. So it's 1.5 or 1 3/4 by 3/4 of an inch by 72 inches long. As you can see in this close-up, I've shown you the actual dimensions of the particular objects. So I want to make a 1x4. So the 1x4 is actually 3/4 of an inch by 3.5 inches. That's a true 1x4, 3/4 of an inch by 3.5 inches, and then your length. So I'm going to make all of my boards using real dimensions. So now on our drawing, I'm going to utilize this space over here to make those 7 boards. We've already made our 2x4 by 42 inches. Now I'm going to make the rest of the boards. So again, I'm going to start out with my rectangle tool, and I'm going to start drawing a rectangle, and get it somewhere close, let go of it, and then type in the true dimensions that you want. I'm going to make this one a 2 by 6 by 42. So I'm going to type in my base measurements, those that are along the ground, which are going to be 5 space ½ inch, comma, space 42 inches. Enter. Now there's my 6-inch by 42-inch board, but I have to lift it up. So I'm going to use my push-pull tool again over here, and I'm going to lift this up. If I can't get it exactly where I want it, just type in the measurement I want, which in this case is 1½ inches high. So 1 space ½ inch, enter. And there's the height. You can see I've made progress in building my 7 boards, but I want to finish them up while you watch because there are certain nuances to the building that will be helpful while you do it. You can see that this board right here has not been pulled up. I'm going to use my push-pull tool, and I'm going to grab that and I'm going to lift it up. Now, I could type in the measurement that I want, but easier still is just moving over and touching an object that's the same height as I want and clicking on that object, and it will make that object the same size. I can do the same thing with this one over here. If I click on that and pick it up and then touch the object next to it, it will lock in at the same height. I can even do it from over here. Grab this object, lift it up, and touch this object over here. The next step is to take and create a canvas to work on. So I'm going to make a large rectangle, and I like working with canvases just like an artist would. So I make a canvas on the ground, and this is going to be my place to build on. It's kind of like a tarp, but it makes sure that everything is in the same plane while you're working on it. It gives you a nice vantage point. So now I want to make my headboard. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab some of these objects. But before I do, I have to group them. See, each one of these objects right now has not been grouped properly, which means that they are still independent parts, not one whole part. So for example, if I click on this and grab my move tool, you can see that it makes a mess. Now, I don't want that. I want to take the whole object. Now, instead of trying to fix it and getting it just right and hoping that I've got it right, I'm just going to undo what I've done. So I come down to the bottom corner here and I hit undo. Now I've got the setup back where it was. So to group this, I'm going to triple click on it. 1, 2, 3. It grabs all the pieces. Now I'm going to hold the Control key on my keyboard, or the Alt key depending on what type of computer you're on, and I'm going to right click on this. Right clicking can be done with a mouse also, where you hover over it and you click with the right finger of your mouse. I'm going to come down to make group. In order for this to work, I have to be on the object. If I do my right click and I'm off the object, you can see that it doesn't give me the whole menu. If I triple click on it and hover over it and click, then I get the whole menu. Now I can make it a group. So I'm going to finish up these 1, 2, 3, right click, make group, triple click, right click, make group. And I believe these I've already grouped. So now everything here is grouped. Now I'm ready to make my headboard. Let's take a look at what the headboard is composed of. On this image, you can see that the bunk bed is made of several different components, but you'll also notice that many of them are duplicates. So we have a headboard here and a footboard down here, and they are two of the same. Then we have a headboard up here and a footboard down here. They are the same. These side rails, there are 4 of them. There are 16 to 18 slats that go across, which are all the same. So in order to do that, we just need to copy and paste some stuff. So I'm starting out here and I'm going to make the headboard. So to make the headboard, it's going to be made up of several different components. So I'm going to grab my pointer tool. I'm going to need two 28-inch 1x4s, so I'm going to click on this, I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste it over here, set it down, and then I'm going to paste another one and set it over there. Then I'm going to come back and click my pointer tool again, and I'm going to need a 2x4x42 and a 2x6x42. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to come over here, paste it, and paste again because I'll need two of those. And then I need one of the 2x6s. So I'm going to copy and then come over here and paste in this area. Now my placement on this canvas doesn't matter because I'm going to be manipulating these anyways. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my two risers here. I'm actually going to need 4 of these, but I'm not going to copy and paste those until I rotate these. So there's 2 ways of rotating an object. I come down here to my move area, and I'm going to use my move tool to rotate one, and then I'll use the rotate tool to rotate the other. So I'm going to come along on this surface, and first I'm going to highlight the surface, and then I'm going to select my move tool, and you'll notice that there are these red plus signs on different sides. On this side, I can rotate along the red axis. On this side, I would rotate along the green axis, and up here, I would rotate along the blue axis. Now, I want to rotate on blue, so I'm going to click this red plus sign. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees until I'm on the red axis. You can see that the line is now red. That's 90 degrees. Now, to rotate this piece, I'm going to do it using a different tool. I'm clicking on the object, I come over here, and I use the rotate tool. Now, again, I need to make sure that I grab the correct surface. I want to be on the blue axis here, not on a red side or a green side. I want to be on the blue. I'm going to get my blue corner, click on it, and release. That's a pivot point. I'm then going to come out here and make a handle on either red or on green, and that is now a lever. I click and release, and now I can turn this, and I'm going to lock in on the 90-degree point right there. If you look in the right-hand corner where it used to say dimensions, it now says angle, and you can see that I'm at a 90 degree. So I'm going to click and release, and now I've turned that 90 degrees. So I need 2 of these for the bottom. I'm going to then put the 2x's in the middle, and then I'm going to put 2 of these on the top. So I'm going to select both of these now and copy and paste them. So I click on one, hold the shift key down. You can see I have a plus minus there. I'm going to click on that one. Now I've got both. I'm going to copy and paste, Command C and Command V, and I'm just going to move these off to the side out of the way. So now I've got those boards. Let's start making the headboard. I'm going to grab this one right here, and I'm going to press M for move, and I'm just going to slide this piece over. I'm going to bring these 2x's over and lay them on top of those. So I'm going to deselect this object by clicking on the pointer, and I'm going to click on this 2x. I'm going to get my move tool. Now if I want to do a shortcut, all I have to do is press M to get the move tool. I'm going to grab this bottom corner right there, and I'm going to drag it over, and I'm going to place it on top of this board right here by touching the top corner, and I'm going to release. That's in perfect alignment. I'm going to now grab this other board, and I'm going to do the same thing using my move tool, and I'm going to get this one on the opposite corner. So I'm going to drag this out here, get it close, and then I'm going to grab this upper corner right there, and I'm going to touch it to this corner. Now those are in alignment. I'm then going to grab my item here. I'm going to grab that, move it over, get it close, let go of it, move in, grab the corner that I want, and drag it and touch where I want it to stick. Now if I press O for orbit and I move around, I can see that it's lined up, and it should be lined up on this corner too if everything's perpendicular to each other. The last piece I need to bring in is this 2x6. I'm going to escape to get off of that other piece, grab this move tool, grab it by the bottom corner, and slide it in, and I want it to be on the surface and right about there. It's about 1/3 from the bottom, 2/3 from the top.